Welcome everybody, this is Yoga with Laurie. I'm recording this to join the Berkshire Yoga Dance and Fitness videos that they have available. Welcome. And let me take my glasses off. And for my Sunday morning class, Peaceful Warrior class, this is particularly made for you, so enjoy. I will be doing a number of Hatha yoga poses, Kripalu style, sometimes holding the poses for longer periods of time. I'd also like to focus on the breath today. Probably as much for me as anybody. Sometimes when we're under stress and there's a lot going on, coming back to the breath as a foundation can do a number of things depending on how you use the breath. So I'll be using the breath in two ways today. One is to build energy, and one way to build energy is to create an inhale that is longer than the exhale, and one is to calm the energy to soothe the nervous system, and that will be a longer exhale which slows the heartbeat down. So come into a comfortable seated position. I've got a couple of blocks. As I've already mentioned in previous videos, you can use alternatives for blocks. You can use books, you can use cans of baked beans. The thing about cans of baked beans, they aren't quite as easy to sit upon, so I like my block. A cushion will do. When you've found that comfortable seat, rock from side to side. Make sure you feel stable. Ideally knees below hips. Lengthen through the ribs. Shoulders roll up, back and down. Palms face up. Palms push against the thighs to create an open chest. Push down through the sit bones and lift through the back of the skull. Close the eyes, and with the eyes closed, start to notice the sensations you're feeling. Bring your attention to the breath. Let each new breath get a little deeper. Start to build the breath, inhale by inhale, gradually increasing. Focus on the exhale, drawing the navel back towards the spine, squeeze empty. Create that abdominal engagement. Relax to inhale, belly expands. Keep breathing in until the ribs expand in all directions. Exhale, release, squeeze empty. If you know the Ujjayi breath, the ocean sounding breath, layer that on to this growing, expanded breath, this Dirgha Pranayama. Squeeze empty. Relax the belly, inhale, keep breathing in, feel the ribs expand. Collarbones lift and widen. Exhale, release, squeeze empty. Avoid any straining of the breath. If you feel any strain, breathe with a little more ease, a little more slowly. Eyes can remain closed for a meditative experience, or you can have them gently open if you're watching the video. As you inhale, reach the arms above the head. Start to feel those first stretch sensations. Exhale, hands float to the knees, rounding the spine. Inhale, lift up, lift the chin. Feel the whole front of the body stretching upwards. Exhaling, floating downwards. Rounding the back, shoulder blades come apart. Inhale, lift up, look up. Feel the stretch sensations in the front of the body. Exhale, release. And working in the rhythm of your breath. Not worried about the speed of my cueing. Now the next time you lift, As you inhale, at the top of the inhale, hold the breath. Hold the breath in until you need to release. Let the energy build. Keep holding the breath until you feel the sensations starting to pull at you. You start to feel a hunger to exhale, an urge to exhale. Keep holding the breath until you feel the body breaks you out of the retention, and then let everything dissolve. Close the eyes for a moment and notice how the breath retention pulls your attention inwards to an interior experience. Lean back into the hands, change the cross of the leg, and then come into a passive forward fold. And in that passive forward fold, allow the arms to start to slowly walk away from the head, noticing the stretch sensations you feel. If you can, avoid creating a story about the stretch sensations. Let yourself simply experience and feel the sensations without analyzing, without judging. Spread the hands nice and widely. Press down with the finger pads. Push the finger pads into the earth. Use them like suction caps to pull you forward onto your knees. If you need padding under the knees, you can. Blocks at the top of the mat. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Create that tabletop. Rotate the elbows in and forward. And as you do, feel a squeezing sensation just below the armpits. Lift the chin, and as you lift the chin, feel the pelvis tilt forward, the tailbone lifts. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, draw the navel in, drop the chin, rounding the back. And continue in that motion, inhaling into sacred cow, exhaling, angry cat. Inhale, exhale. On the next inhale, extend the left leg behind you and push the heel out. Drive out through the heel. Try to keep that leg as an extension of the spine, not opening the pelvis. Toes curled back. Drive out through the heel. Feel the extension. Exhale, knee to navel. Come into a deep crunch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to navel. And then add that right arm as you feel you would like to deepen that work. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend. This time, hold. Hold yourself into that pose, bird dog. Exhale, gently bend the left knee if you'd like. Grab the left foot and lift the left foot. Lift the heart, lift the foot, and feel those sensations in the front of the leg, hip flexor. Exhale, release. Knees wide, come all the way back to child's pose. Inhale, tabletop. Come back to cat and cow. Work with the breath. On the next inhale, extend that right leg out behind you. Keep it nice and parallel to the spine. Exhale, come through that dynamic movement, crunching in, knee to head, head to knee. Inhale, extending out. Try to move with the speed of the breath, not too fast, not using momentum to carry the pose, using core strength stability. Let your practice deepen your strength. On the next inhale, you can add that left hand if you like, bird dog, and then exhale, navel meets elbow, knee meets head. In and out. The next time you extend, pause. Bend that right knee, grab that right foot with the left hand, lift the heart, lift the knee. Feel the breath. Exhale, release. Come all the way back, child pose. Let everything dissolve. Feel the movement of the belly between the thighs with each inhale. With each exhale, letting the low back release even more. Inhale, bring the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, curl the toes, lift the knees and push the knees back. Bent knee, downward facing dog. In bent knee, downward facing dog, spread the hands nice and widely. Lengthen through the arms. Neck is long. Neck is parallel to the spine, so it's not dropping down and it's not lifting up. It's right between those biceps. Shoulder blades come apart. Wrap the shoulder blades towards the chest, as if you're trying to rotate the elbows to the ceiling. Now lengthen through the spine. Really push those hips back. On the next exhale, gently press the heels towards the ground. If the legs don't straighten, that's okay. And feel downward dog. Bring the feet together. Lift the right foot out behind the body as an extension of the spine. So you're not rotating the pelvis here. And then lift the foot, point the toes, create an Eiffel Tower as if you're trying to push that foot into the ceiling. Left heel pushes into the mat. Now bend that knee and then bring that knee out to the side like you're trying to do a big side kick to the side body. Keep that foot nice and high. Can you bring it forward a little more and bring it a little higher? Exhale, release. Bring it all the way back and take a big step. Right foot to that right wrist. Drop the left knee. Inhale, reaching up. Exalted warrior. In Exalted Warrior, start to focus on the breath. As you exhale, see if you can let the body lean forward. And then as you inhale, come back, bring the hands back, create a little back bend. A little flow here, minute flow. Micro flow here with the breath. Exhaling forward, inhaling back. The next time you come to neutral, pause. Bring both hands out to the right, as if you're holding candles, palms face up. Gently close the hands, gentle fists, rotate the thumbs to the ceiling, squeeze the shoulder blades. Feel a nice stretch sensation right across the front of the shoulders and the chest. Rotate left hand forward unless you're pregnant. That way you go, if you're pregnant, rotate the opposite way. Look back at that right hand. Feel that twist. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, reach the hands up. Curl the toes of the left foot. Lift the left knee. As you lift the left knee, reach both hands out to the side. Hold those candles nice and still. Now watch that right knee doesn't collapse inwards. Come back to the breath. Gently closed fists. Rotate thumbs to heaven. Rotate left hand, unless you're pregnant, right hand, opposite direction. Twist, looking back. Push back with that left heel. Feel lots of strength in the legs. Legs nice and stable. Reach up. Exhale. Hands to the mat. Step all the way to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, prayer. For a moment, pause. Simply notice as if there was an imaginary line right down through the center of the body. If you feel any distinction, any difference, any contrast between the right and left side of the body. So we're going to move into breath of joy. I'll do the other side after breath of joy. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten that side yet. Now, breath of joy is a very invigorating breath where there's much more inhale time than exhale time. In fact, there'll be 3 inhales, and they go like this. And the exhale is a solid ha. Now, with the ha, when you create the ha sound, it makes the solar plexus contract sharply inwards. So there's a contraction. Belly comes back. Solar plexus comes back. It's a thrusting out of the exhale. It's often used in martial arts as a way to create presence of mind, vigor, and sensation in the body. So 3 inhales, 1 exhale. We're going to do 15 rounds. Incorporating the hands will come up front, side, and front again, and then exhale, whole body comes down, throwing out the exhale. At the end of 15 rounds, we'll do lion's breath, which will be a sharp inhale through the nose. Open the eyes, lift the head, open the arms, look to the sky, and on the exhale, open the mouth nice and wide, stick the tongue out, and go, ah! Make that beautiful lion sound. So this really clears that whole area from the navel through to the throat. It's often an area I feel if I have low self-esteem, I'll feel that area start to shut down on me. It starts to feel constricted. So this is a way to open up that whole area, physically and emotionally. So come to the top of the mat. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release with a sigh. And begin breath of joy. Five to go. One more. Inhale, lift up, arms up, deep breath in. Exhale, lion's breath. Let both hands fall forward, swan dive to the earth. Step, float, walk, or jump back to high plank, push-up pose. Exhale, slowly come down, chaturanga, and then all the way down to the earth. Stack the hands under the forehead and feel the effect of breath of joy. Feel the effect of breath of joy with the belly against the ground. Notice the experience. Notice everything that's going on. Sweep the arms behind you, palms on the floor. Bring the big toes together. Push down with the toes, push down with the pelvis. Walk the hands back so you feel the shoulders move away from the ears. Start to deepen the breath. Squeeze the buttocks and push into the pelvis. And as you do, start to lift the head, lift the shoulders, lift the chest. On the next inhale, lift the feet, lift, knees come off, thighs come off, squeezing the buttocks. If you can, next inhale, float the hands out, spread the hands out nice and wide as if you're a superhero flying forward. Bring the shoulders back, squeeze the shoulder blades, open up, let the sternum flower open, blossom open. Feel that chest expansion. Lift the feet a little higher. Feel the breath. On the next inhale, if you can, lift the whole rib cage up off the ground. Feel Navasana, feel your boat pose. And then exhale, let everything dissolve. Turn the head to one side. And let the whole body simply dissolve. Relax and go soft. Inhale, hands under the shoulders. Push up onto the knees, knees wide, come all the way back to child pose. Inhale, tabletop, hands under shoulders, knees under hip, curl the toes, lift the knees, press the bent knees back, bent knee, downward dog. Spread the hands widely, lengthen through the neck, keep that neck long, not tight, not lifting the chin. Wrap the shoulder blades around the spine, feel, push those hips back, and then lastly, press the heels towards the earth, feel that downward facing dog. Feet together, lift the left leg out. Keep the left leg in line with the spine, keeping the hips square, lengthen through the body. And then open up the hips, lift that toe to the heavens, Eiffel Tower pose, lift right up, open up as much as you can. Bend the knee, bring that knee out to the side, big side kick, keep it high, and as you keep it high, try to bring it forward a little more, lift it a little more, and then exhale, come all the way back, lift it high into the sky, step it all the way forward to the left wrist. Drop the right knee. Told you I'd come back to this side. Inhale, reaching up. Exalted warrior. Bring your attention back to the breath. Let yourself micro move, micro flow back and forth. Back and forth. The next time you come to neutral, hold those candles out to the side. Keep the chest nice and widely open. Gently close the fists, thumbs to heaven. If you're pregnant, you'll go counter direction. Otherwise, right hand forward, left hand back. Look back at that back thumb, squeezing the pelvis, squeezing the thighs, creating stability. Inhale, come forward, reach to heaven, curl the toes of the back foot, lift that back knee. Deep runner's lunge. Feel the intensity with deep runner's lunge. Exhale, hands out, hold those candles. Watch that front knee doesn't collapse. Make gentle fists, thumbs to heaven, right hand forward, exhale. Left hand back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, step hands to the top of the mat. Step to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, prayer. Close the eyes. Notice the sensations you're feeling. Prepare for breath of joy. 15 rounds, finish with lion's breath. A little faster this time. And as long as you're not shy at home, let the expulsion of air be nice and loud. I've got a neighbor right above me. I hope he doesn't mind. And begin. 8, halfway. 3 to go. Last one. Inhale, lift up. Big breath in. Hold the breath. Exhale, lion's breath. Let the hands float down beside the body. Rotate the palms outwards. Feel the shoulder blades gently squeeze together. Press down through the heels. Lift the back of the skull. Feel Tadasana. Feel the breath. Feel the invigoration from breath of joy. And then facing the long edge of your mat, I'll rotate mine a little differently so it looks a little more presentable on the screen. Hands out. And try to line up ankles and wrists. Slightly pigeon toe the feet. Rotate the right foot towards the right. Bend the right knee. Look back. Make sure the heel lines up with the arch of that back foot. If you feel like you could go a little wider, you can. Make sure that the back foot is actively engaged, the outer edge biting into the mat, the calcaneus bone driving into the mat, heel, knee, hip all line up. Keep the left shoulder rotated. Make sure that right knee isn't collapsing in. If it collapses in, gently bring it back, knee perpendicular to ankle. If it's in front like this, that means you could step back further. Hold the knee stable. It's more important to have the knee perpendicular to the ankle for safety than it is to have the shoulder back. So if you find your shoulder is forward a little bit over time, like a zipper coming right down the front of the body, unzip, allow that tightness to unwind. Chest comes back, shoulder comes back. Back hand parallel, palm down. Rotate towards that front knee and then float front hand out, palm face down. A slight engagement here. Now lift the thighs, the bottom of the thighs up a little bit so you feel the engagement in the hips, you feel the engagement in the glutes, you feel the engagement in where the hamstrings meet the buttocks. You feel the pelvic floor helping support you here. Exhale, drop the back hand. Front hand comes up and over. Feel that rainbow dancer. And try to keep the shoulders aligned so that you're not creating a duck butt here. Exhale, release, warrior two. And then reach forward as far as you can, resting that front hand on the thigh. Top hand comes over, looking up towards the sky. Side angle pose. Inhale, come back, warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Rotate the foot back. So both feet are facing the long edge of the mat. Push the pelvis back. Keep the legs straight so you get a delicious stretch in the posterior chain of the legs and the glutes. Palms to the floor. Lengthen out through the spine. Bring the right hand under the chest. Now this could be a good opportunity to use a block. Sometimes a block can make this rotation a little more manageable. Palm facing down, pushing down on either block or mat. Lift the left hand to the sky, creating a nice rotation here. Legs remain nice and straight. Come back to the breath. Exhale, lower that hand to the earth or the block. Lift the opposite hand up. Focus on the breath. Focus on the sensations. Resist the temptation to analyze or judge. Exhale, come down. And this time, heel toe the feet in a little bit closer until you come into a low squat. Now, if a low squat's not available to you, this is a great opportunity to use the blocks. They can create a nice seat. If you're using the blocks, what I'm going to encourage you to do is to lean forward, and that leaning forward will create a stretch sensation through the thighs, through the hips. It will start to get your body used to that opening. If you're down without the blocks, your goal is to try and get these feet nice and flat, feet rotated out. I'm going to encourage you to bring the hands together in prayer and start to use the elbows to start to open up the thighs. If possible, try to keep a nice long spine. So you're not rounding forward like this, you're not coming forward, but you're keeping the head stacked up over the shoulders, shoulders over the hips. Trying to blossom that front part of the body open as much as it can in this awkward position. One step further for those who want to try it is bound triangle. Take the left hand, grab the top of the left foot, right hand grabs the top of the right foot. Important here, as the elbows push into the knee crease, that you don't hyperextend. You don't want those elbows popping forward. Create a slight bend in the elbows, and as you do, push the elbows back into the knees, so that creates that stretch sensation. Drop the sit bone down, lift the shoulders back, open up the sternum, open up the chest. Come back to the breath and create a gentle smile on the face. Mona Lisa smile. Pretend you're enjoying it. Bound triangle, Baddha Trikonasana. And then exhale, release, come down onto the sit bones. Once again, I'll rearrange my mat to face you. And stand the feet on the mat. Stand the feet on the mat. Rock from side to side. Grab the back of the thighs. Roll the shoulders up, back and down. Come back to the breath. Start to build the breath into your Dirga Pranayama. One breath at a time. Let the breath deepen. Add the Ujjayi as you wish. As we prepare for boat pose, upward facing boat, make micro adjustments so you feel the stability. You feel the preparation for balance, allowing the feet to gently float an inch or two above the mat, toes curled back. And with each movement, with each adjustment of the legs, just counter adjusting with the hip flexors, with the abdominals, lengthening through the spine. Let the shins raise up parallel to the earth. Come back to the breath and start to feel the sensations. Bring the toes back, open up the bottoms of the feet, and then straighten the legs. As you straighten the legs, drive out through the heels, toes curled back. And for those who'd like to, release the legs, let the palms face up, palms beside the legs, palms to the ceiling, for 5 slow Dirga pranayamas. On the next exhale, slowly roll down to the mat and let everything dissolve. Let everything go. Let the whole body relax. And rather than controlling the breath, let the jaw hinge open. Let the pressure in the lips dissolve like a deflating tire. Let them become soft. Let the tongue come to rest. Let yourself notice, simply be aware of the breath. Not forcing it, not controlling it, simply noticing how the breath breathes you when you're totally relaxed. And the difference between breathing unconsciously without noticing and breathing consciously by noticing the breath has an immense contrast in the effect on the nervous system. When you start to pay attention to your breath without trying to affect it, it will change right in front of your eyes. It will start to slow down. The heartbeat will slow down accordingly. You start to notice and become more sensitive to your environment, inwards and outwards. So there's a focused relaxation that starts to cloak the body. A silence descends. And ease. On the next inhale, gently bend the knees, stand the feet on the mat. Walk the feet and the hips a little closer together. As you inhale, engage the legs, make the inner thighs active, so the legs remain stable. Inhale, press down through the heels, lift the hips up as high as you can. Exhale, lower down. So with each breath in, push down with the heels and lift those hips as high as you can. You'll feel the sternum come up against the chin. Exhaling, lowering. You can add the arms if you like. The next time you inhale, lift the arms up and over until the fingernails rest on the ground behind you. Exhale, float the hands back. Inhale, lift, arms come up and over. Exhale, lower. On the next inhale, hold. On the next inhale, hold those arms back. Lift the hips a little higher. If you can, walk the heels a little closer, only if they stay flat on the mat. Knees, hip-width distance apart. Avoid the temptation to flare them out. Engage the inner thighs to hold them steady. Now squeeze the buttocks. Squeeze the glutes to help support the hamstrings. Lift and hold you in this variation of bridge pose. Can you lift the tailbone a little more? Can you extend out through the belly, out through the knees? Let the knees pull the belly open. and breathe. For 5 breaths if you can. Each inhale, come up a little higher. Each exhale, hold that height. On the next exhale, slowly lower the hips. Gently bring the hands floating back. Bring the soles of the feet together, knees splay out to the side, palms face up. And feel the effect of bridge pose. And then bring your attention back to the breath. Back to that breath. Lift the right knee up and let it float all the way over to that left knee. Bring the hands out to the side, 90 degrees, palms face up. Turn the head to the right. So with the right leg stacked on top of the left leg, try to keep the knees together and then bring both knees over to the right side, keeping the left leg now stacked on front. Turn the head to the left. Could you work with your breath here, swaying from side to side, inhaling to neutral, exhaling as the legs fall to one side. Head turns in the opposite direction. Now the next time the knees fall to that right side, leave them there. Bring your right hand down on top of that left knee if you can. Give a little more twist to sensation. And then snow angel that left hand above the head. Create a deep stretch through the ribs. And then gently release and come to the other side. Knees sway to the left. Left hand on top of that right thigh. Push down. Snow angel that right hand up above the head. And feel that length between the rib cage and the hip on the right side. Feel the stretch sensations in the shoulders, in the hips. And if you breathe a little more deeply, you'll feel a stretch sensation that connects the ribs and the hips. Exhale, release. Hug the knees to the chest and rock from side to side. And for a moment, if you have a block handy, I recommend the block to come into this supported inversion. Lift the pelvis, bring the block onto its lowest setting, and then sit the hips back down onto the block, extend both legs out, both hands over the chest. Feel the stretch in the front of the body. Then exhale. Squeeze the right knee towards the chest. Push out through the left heel. Curl the toes back. Squeeze. Feel that right thigh against the rib cage. Exhale, release and change legs. Extend right leg out. Squeeze that left knee, that left thigh towards the ribs. And when we do these exercises on the block, we're actually in a back bend the whole time. You'll notice the hips are elevated, so there's an arch in the low back. Push out through the right heel. Now hold that left knee where it is and bring the right knee back. Maintaining balance on the block, squeeze both knees this time towards the shoulders, so keep the thighs off the ribs and squeeze those knees back. Feel that release in the low back. Exhale, lift the legs into the air, palms out beside you. Now I'm probably showing you my posterior here. I don't know if that's an enjoyable sight or not, so I'm going to flip around so you see me from the other side. Now with the legs elevated, work the ankle joints, point and flex. Rotate, windshield wiper left and right. You can straddle the legs if you like, get a little internal stretch. We've done quite a bit there already, but you might enjoy that. Bring the legs back together. And for those who want to go a little further, bring the hands down, palms beside the block. Push down into the hands and elevate the legs into the air. Legs come up over the head and then start to push the feet to heaven into your half shoulder stand. Try to create the weight on the tricep area of the arms so it's not into the neck and it's not into the elbows. And then use the tailbone and the abdominals to push upwards towards the sky. Push all the way upwards. You can push the heels up. Use your core to help lighten the load on the arms and the neck. For those who have plow pose in their pose, you can also come back into plow by bringing the knees down towards the head, hands to the floor, and extending the legs over the head, toes towards the floor. Just choosing those poses and staying only as long as suitable for your body. When you're ready to come out, engage the neck, hold the neck steady to allow the head to come up as the hips come back down to earth. Float the feet back to the mat. Notice the sensations. Inhale, push the feet down, lift the hips, remove the block from out of the way, hug the knees, and rock from side to side. Roll all the way over to one side of the body, and then gently press up to a seated position. I'm going to use a block to sit on once again. And we'll explore the contrast between that breath of joy, that invigorating breath that we used earlier in the practice, with the opposite effect, that longer, more controlled exhale, which starts to calm the nervous system down. A nice one to do before you go to bed. Close the eyes. Notice the breath. Noticing the breath doesn't mean analyzing the breath. Noticing the breath doesn't mean worrying if I'm breathing correctly or not. Analyzing and judging the breath are simply movements of the mind. They're not paying attention to the breath. Paying attention to the breath is a felt and heard experience. As you breathe, you may be able to hear the sounds of your breathing. And you may be able to feel the sensations as you inhale. You might feel sensations inside the nostrils, against the walls of the nostrils. You might feel the sensations at the top of the nostrils, at the septum. If you're totally sensitive, you might even feel a slight movement of air over the top lip as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, notice there's a natural release of tension. As we breathe out, the volume of the lungs decreases. There's a sense of release of tension. And you might notice the pause between the breaths. If you can, inhale through the nostrils and exhale through the mouth. When you exhale through the mouth, not as a sigh, not as a but as a controlled exhale through pursed lips. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through pursed lips. Inhale through the nose. Let it be a delicious inhale, as if you're smelling the fragrance of something delicious, fragrant, beautiful. And as you exhale, exhale as if you're gently blowing onto the face of a small baby, not wanting to disturb it, but wanting to cool it on a hot summer's day. Very gentle, slow breath, as if the exhale just keeps going and going and going. And then let the inhale be this sweet, fragrant inhalation of smell and fragrance. Exhale long and gentle. And notice with each exhale, with each breath out, there's a sense of sinking into a calmness, into a letting go. Giving yourself time to experience that state of letting go. And knowing with each exhale, the rate of the heart slows down. So the longer we exhale, the more we move towards a relaxation response. That relaxation response can move you towards meditation, or shavasana, or simply to stay with the pranayama, the pursed lips breath. Just for a moment, check in with yourself and notice which of those three, or perhaps there's even another choice, a fourth choice, a choice that your practice has come to an end, that it's time to get up, move about your day. See if you can allow the choice to come to you. Let the feeling of evidence be in your body, in your breath. Pranayam. Meditation. Or Shavasana. And whatever choice you make, thank you for joining me. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Happy Sunday. In your discovery, it's actually a good discovery.